Hello everyone, welcome to this series on literary theory. And in this video, we are going to discuss the influence of Jacques Lacan in psychoanalytic theory. Introduction. Jacques Lacan, a towering figure in psychoanalysis, has significantly influenced literary theory, particularly in the post-structuralist tradition. His work, deeply rooted in Freudian psychoanalysis, extends its scope to encompass language, identity, and the unconscious, making it highly relevant to literary criticism. This video explores Lacan's major ideas, their implications for literary theory, and their enduring relevance. Lacan's early career and intellectual influences. Jacques Lacan began his career in the field of psychiatry in the 1920s, focusing on paranoia and other forms of mental illness. His early work culminated in his thesis on his patient Amy. Lacan's intellectual trajectory was shaped by several key figures, including Claude Lévi-Strauss, Ferdinand de Saussure, and Roman Jakobson. These influences were evident in his emphasis on the structure of language and its role in shaping human psychology. The mirror stage, identity and the imagery. One of Lacan's most famous concepts is the mirror stage, which he first presented in 1936. The mirror stage describes the moment when a child between 6 and 18 months recognizes his reflection in the mirror and begins to conceive of itself as a distinct entity. This recognition marks the beginning of the child's entry into the symbolic order, the world of language and social structures. The mirror stage is crucial for understanding how identity is formed and how it remains inherently unstable, as the self is always caught between the idealized image in the mirror and the fragmented reality of the body. The unconscious as structured like a language. Lacan's assertion that the unconscious is structured like a language is one of his most influential ideas. Drawing on sociolinguistics, Lacan argued that the unconscious mind operates through mechanisms similar to those of language, such as metaphor and metonymy. This linguistic structure of the unconscious challenges traditional notions of a coherent, unified self, suggesting instead that the self is a fragmented construct, constantly in flux and influenced by the linguistic and social systems in which it exists. The implications for literary criticism. Lacan's ideas have profound implications for literary criticism, particularly his concept of the unconscious as a linguistic structure. This perspective deconstructs the idea of literary characters as coherent, autonomous individuals, instead presenting them as assemblages of signifiers. For Lacanian critics, characters in a novel are not stable, fully realized beings, but are instead shifting constellations of language, reflecting the fragmented and unstable nature of the self. Moreover, Lacan's view of language as detached from external reality challenges the foundations of literary realism. In realist literature, language is typically seen as a transparent medium that reflects the real world. However, from a Lacanian perspective, language has its own internal logic, independent of the external world. This has led to a preference among Lacanian critics for modernist and postmodernist texts, which often play with language and narrative structure to highlight the constructed nature of reality, the imaginary and the symbolic in literature. Lacan's distinction between the imaginary and the symbolic realms has also been widely applied in literary studies. The imaginary, associated with the pre-linguistic, pre-social stage of development, is a realm of unity and wholeness, whereas the symbolic is the realm of language, social structures, and the law of the father. In literature, the symbolic is often associated with realist texts, which adhere to logical structures and social conventions. In contrast, the imaginary is linked to more experimental, anti-realist texts that challenge these conventions, often through poetic language or fragmented narrative structures. Conclusion: Jacques Lacan's work has had a profound impact on literary theory, particularly in its challenge to traditional notions of identity, language, and reality. By deconstructing the idea of the self as a stable, coherent entity and emphasizing the linguistic structure of the unconscious, Lacan has provided literary critics with powerful tools for analyzing texts. His ideas continue to resonate in contemporary literary theory, particularly in the analysis of modernist and postmodernist literature, where the boundaries between the imaginary and the symbolic, language and reality are constantly being negotiated. So this was the discussion about Jacques Lacan. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other topic. Until then, goodbye and thank you.